Good morning. How are you? So when the CFPB created, when CFP wrote into law, we actually created a consumer response section, which is where your complaints actually come through, where we have investigators, about 125 or so, that actually look at every complaint that comes through. And what I want to do is the consumer response has their own separate mission and vision, and it says that the Office of Consumer Response will take in and respond or refer as appropriate consumer complaints and inquiries about consumer financial products and services. Basically meaning that we will take them in, anything underneath our purview, we'll actually look at it, and if it goes to another regulatory agency, we'll go ahead and refer those over to those regulatory agencies. So consumer response has the objectives. One, we want to ensure that the consumer rights are protected. Pam touched a little bit on SCRA. Unfortunately, we have some institutions that just don't know how to apply it. So we want to make sure that specific rights are applied correctly to the service members' accounts. Additionally, we want to ensure that there's redress for consumers, making sure that if they were wronged in any type of way, that we're making sure that we are getting the money back for them on behalf of them to make sure that they are made whole again. Additionally, we want to educate them, and that's where Pam comes in, because she's really good with the education piece and making sure that financial education for the service members are understood, and that's why we're trying to make innovative ways to reach the crowd in their language, if you will. And what we do is we leverage that data to look at trends, to then refer that over to other agencies to let them know what we have actually found in the complaints and how we've gone about resolving them. So this is a list of our top 10 complaints, and as you can see, the top 10 deal with billing disputes, APR or interest rates, identity theft, and closing or canceling of accounts. To date, the CFPB as a whole has received about 30,000 complaints, 29,828. Of that, we have received, when this was written, about 500 complaints from military members. Right now, we're at about 768. And I will tell you that every single complaint that's come in from the military members, I've looked at every single one. And that's one thing that we want to make sure we do, is that we're not just looking at one here, because everybody comes in, we want to make sure that they're getting equal treatment across the board. Since July 21st, we have gotten the banks to agree to return back $132,000 to our service members. Within the first 3 months, 3 out of 4 complaints were resolved. So that's roughly 75%. So what I want to do is I want to give you a little bit of a story of a service member who used his credit card to get services. He gave them $5,000 on his credit card. About 3 or 4 weeks went by. He noticed that he wasn't getting the services. He called the credit card company. Credit card company said, "We'll get the money back to you." Waited 3 or 4 months. Nothing. Wasn't getting the money back. He put a complaint in with the CFPB, and within 4 or 5 days, the credit card company responded not only to us, but to him, and gave him back his $5,000 plus $177 in interest and in fees. So the process works pretty fast. When a complaint comes in, it goes into our consumer response section. The bank is allowed 15 days to respond. And in some cases, not most cases, they can ask for an extension, maximum 60 days. Generally, most cases, they respond within the 15 days, and they get the response to us, and either they say, "We're going to give you the relief, you were wrongfully charged," or what have you. So on the next slide, I wanted to give you guys the way that we take the complaints. We take them through the phone number. We have 2 major hubs in Iowa and New Mexico. And what they are, they're contracted through the CFPB, but everybody at those hubs are completely trained in taking these type of complaints. And they're labeled, so everything that is a service member complaint from the time it's taken in is labeled as service member. So I know right away that when I do a query, it comes right up. So we have another way, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but when you go to our website, it says submit a credit card complaint. This image is a little old, so in the middle it says submit a mortgage complaint, and at the end it says tell your story. We definitely like hearing stories, but we also want to stress that when you tell your story, we also want you, if you feel that it's a complaint, that you also submit the complaint. There is a little message that says that if you feel it's a complaint, go ahead and submit it. So we put it through in those three categories. Again, they come through to me. We also have another gentleman that's on our team that actually looks at them as well. And, you know, we're just here. We want to make sure that we let the banks know. We're not here to say that they're the bad guys. We're just here to basically say we want to work with you. We want to keep the relationship open. We want to make sure that these things are taken care of and they're getting the proper attention.